it makes you feel better, when I was little, we spoke Ukrainian in the house, and nobody ever said Maria or Irina, so.
Strangely, that doesn't make me feel better, but I get it. I get it.
As a little kid, you're 4 or 5, you don't know Maria, you're Maria.
Yeah.
That's Maria.
I know. So, that's amazing. Well, knowing languages is great. Hey, Mary Schultz, how are ya? We have everybody? Oh, no, Mary Ogden. Yeah.
Hi, Kyle. I had to unmute.
Oh, hi, Mary. Would that call-in number be Mary Ogden by any chance? Does anybody know?
No, it's not me.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. And Julianne, we'll just wait till she's... Hey there. You ready? Okay. It's 6 o'clock. I'm calling the Medina County District Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
You're on mute, Kelly.
Sure, sorry about that. This is for the Records Commission meeting, correct?
Oh, that's right. Yes, the Records Commission meeting for the disposition of records. So yes, we're starting.
Awesome, great. Mr. Carlson?
Yep.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, so we have the records here. I guess we need to approve the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Can we have a roll call of members, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Great.
Okay, so we have the record retention 2020 disposal list. Do we have any questions or any discussion?
We want to move in second, and then I can explain a little bit. It's up to you.
Okay. Okay. For the disposal, okay.
Sorry, who moved?
Gail.
Oh, thank you.
Schultz for second.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Okay, so included with the agenda is a list. I guess I should back up. The Records Commission is made up of board members and the fiscal officer. And every year we must meet at least once a year. We have no changes to our records retention schedules or anything, timing, policies at this point. But every year we do dispose of some records, and I like to give you, and it's in your bylaws, that we give you a list of those items that we plan to shred. We have shredding, if you approve, set up for November 30th this year. And there's a list of the different types of records and for the period that we're shredding them or disposing of them. And you can see the list there. Basically, it's to keep us on track so that we don't keep more than we need to, that we follow, of course, the records retention policy, and most importantly, that we have enough room to store all this stuff. So that's our list. Mostly finance and a couple HR groups of policies or files.
Okay, is there any discussion or any questions? Okay, it doesn't look like we have any. Is there any, so then we'll just take a roll call for the disposal of obsolete records.
Okay, Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes. Okay, and then we do have one other item on the agenda, just for other. Is there anything else anyone wants to discuss on this topic? Okay, there being none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Okay, can I have a roll call, Kelly?
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Okay, I have that at 6:05 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all right, so now we move on to the November 16th Medina County District Library Board of Trustees meeting. I'm calling it to order at about 6:05. Can we have a roll call of the members, Kelly?
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Sorry. Yes.
that's okay. Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Kelly?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yeah.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes. Okay, we have recognition of guests and comments from the public. First of all, I want to welcome everyone on the call today. I see that we have about 21 people, and I want to welcome everyone. Do we have any comments today from the public?
There were none submitted, Kyle.
Okay, all right. I would like to take a moment to read a brief statement here, or a few words anyway, just a few words. This has been a difficult year, and I want to take a moment to reflect on some observations. A year ago, I did not imagine a worldwide pandemic would indeed claim so much, nor did I anticipate the level of animus and political upheaval. Emotions are running high. At the same time, we have a new executive director at the library, and new leadership signals other changes. This has been a lot to digest. The library team is adjusting to all the changes, and change is uncertain and uncomfortable. Here is what I know. I know that there are a lot of opinions on how things could improve. I also know that hard decisions need to be made, and each one sets a precedent. Future decisions will be judged by current ones. I know and I believe that each and every employee, trustee, and member of the community wants our library system to flourish. And I know that processes are in place for employees to share and be heard. I also know that being heard does not mean agreement, implementation, and follow through of your thoughts. Tough decisions are being made during a tough time. I believe that those decisions are based on solid information and are the best that can be done based on the time and the circumstances and what we know today. Thanksgiving is upon us. Many this year have experienced loss of jobs, loss of a business, loss of a family member, and even more tragically, some have lost their lives. For those of us with our health and our jobs, I feel we are blessed. I believe we have a responsibility to work together, provide a safe environment, including for sharing opinions and thoughts, especially those different from our own, and to try Make an effort to respect and support those making the tough decisions. It's not easy. Follow the established library processes already in place to share your concerns. Follow the Stephen Covey principles of assuming innocence and seek first to understand, then to be understood. Focus on the shared mission and goal, and I ask you to join with me. Let's carry on together. Will it be perfect and smooth? I don't think so. But if we give each other the benefit of the doubt and try to respect each other and work together, we will accomplish more and we will feel better. That is my hope for 2021. All right, we will move on. I will ask for a motion and a second for disposition of the October 19 minutes.
So moved.
Second, Schultz.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
I have a correction.
Okay, sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
That's okay. Under recognition of guests and comments from the public, Eileen had read a petition dated October 1st, 2020, signed by the employees regarding concerns of the reduction of staff hours as approved by the board at their September meeting. I want to be clear that that's not what we approved at the September meeting. That resolution 2039 in September was about Shared Work Ohio participation.
Okay, Ryan, would you like me to reword that instead of saying the reduction of support staff hours, instead say, update it to say, participation in Shared Work Ohio plan?
No, because that was part of the petition that was read. I don't want to change what the petition is. I'm not sure if this needs to stand as a correction to the minutes, but I think it was not clear from a number of comments that were made what exactly it was that we approved.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, I guess maybe just add on a correction at the end, because I don't want to change what she, read.
Okay.
Maybe something in addition to that says, to be clear, refer back to resolution
Yes, okay.
2039.
Okay. I will put that in there.
I saw the head shake, Julianne. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, we took that wording from the wording in the minutes from the petition.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to be clear what it was we were voting on.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, there being none, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes. Okay, can we have a motion and a second for the financial report, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Kelly?
Yeah, so Tammy included the financial report in your packets, and the first page is the statement of cash position for the month ending October 31st, 2020. Revenue for month to date for all funds was $326,666.45. Month to date expenses were $932,736. Our cash or unexpended balance is $14,920,000. Encumbrances at the end of October were $4.877 million in all funds, leaving a ending or unencumbered balance of $10,043,068 approximately. The next two pages of the financial report is the revenue report. If you look at the bottom of page 2, our total for month-to-date revenue for all funds, $326,666.45, and our year-to-date revenue, $13,350,000 approximately. And then following that, we have 5 pages of expense reports. You'll see the 203 CARES Act federal grant fund at the very bottom of page 3, which is our new grant fund for the $150,000 that we received. And usually I give you the percentage spent year to date of the general fund, which is actually at the top of page 3. We have spent about 61% of our original budget in the general fund to date as of October 31st. End of the expense report on page 5 of 5. You will see the month-to-date expenses for all funds, $932,736, and our year-to-date expenses, $8,042,000. Couple things I can also kind of just drop in here, that we are also reviewing applications for the fiscal officer position right now, and I have just about finished up, almost done the 2021 budget. And Brian, we can talk later about setting up a date for the finance committee meeting for that, to go over that. The next page is the investment report for October. We had about a little bit more than halfway down. You will see the principal or balance of 2 CDs, Compass Bank CD and Wells Fargo. Those 2 CDs did mature in the month of October, so you'll see they have 0 amounts there. So those 2 CDs at 3% have matured, and total amount in banks and investments that the board has is at the end of October was $15,121,445. Our average weighted interest on the portfolio in total is about 0.655%. Again, that, as you know, continues to drop every month. Our October interest earned was $8,465, and our year-to-date interest earned at the from January through October, $141,731. The next 2 pages is a review of the Public Library Fund, the PLF, for the month of November. We got the information listed there. November of 2020 is actually up $5,388, up from November of 2019. Year to date, we are down about $18,700 from this time in 2019, or about 0.5% down. And since COVID-19 started, which we look at as, the month of April for PLF, we are down about $66,152, or nearly 2% down. One of the other items to bring to your attention is a new section on the bottom left of this PLF spreadsheet showing the projections, the original first-time projections from the Ohio Department of Taxation for our PLF for 2021. I'm comparing that to 2019 because I'm not sure we want to compare anything to 2020 at this point ever, since it was such an anomaly. But comparing it to 2019's PLF, we are looking, their first estimate is that we will be down almost $400,000 in the PLF, or 10.43% from what we received in 2019. Again, this is a preliminary figure. They will give us more information in December. They come out with another estimate for what they think 2021 will look like. And it's difficult for them to predict, but we do go with their numbers to plug that number into our revenue for the budget, which I'm preparing right now for 2021. So that amount of $3,385,496 is what I will use for the 2021 budget for the PLF. So I just wanted to make sure the board's aware that that is down just about $400,000 from 2019. So that's a pretty significant hit. We'll see how things pan out, and maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be better than that. But that's the number we want to go with right now from the Ohio Department of Taxation. And the final page of the financial report, you can see the PLF revenue chart, kind of puts all those numbers into a graph form. And the month of November, you can see there the white line is 2020, and you can see it's slightly above 2019. So we're on a bit of a roller coaster ride with the PLF. It has gone down. It was down last month, or almost neutral, I guess, compared to last year. And then it's up a little bit for the month of November. Who knows what December will bring, but we're continuing to watch it along with, the economy, the market, interest rates, and those kinds of things. So I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Kelly. Does anybody have any comments or questions? I heard somebody starting to talk there. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Julianne, we're at the director's report.
Alrighty. So just a little overview of last month. On October 19th, our public service hours were expanded. Keep in mind, we plan 4 to 6 weeks in advance for that kind of a change. They were changed so that we're now open Monday and Wednesdays, 10 to 5, Tuesday and Thursday, 12 to 8, and Friday and Saturday, 10 to 4. So when we look at our circulation, the circulation was 203,078. That's down about 19.86% from last October. But of that, our e-media circulation was up 21%. The door count last month at all locations was 24,332, which is 55% lower than normal. The computer use for the month was 12,202, and that includes 8,813 uses of the Wi-Fi. Our overall computer utilization was down 61.44% for the month. 66 virtual programs were held that were attended by 2,159 people. We had 58 new cards issued, and that included 187 e-cards. Our anytime locker usage, we were at 553 locker pickups last month, and that's up 368%. So I think locker usage is here to stay. We had 86 curbside pickups and 105 online reference conversations. In your board packets, I think a few pages past my written report, you'll see a couple of the colorful charts that track some of our public services stats. If you remember, in addition to the normal way of looking things from 2019 to 2020, we're really keeping an eye on some things that are month to month, just kind of see where we're trending. So on those colorful charts, you'll notice that circulation in e-media held roughly even between September and October, and there were small increases in people count and computer usage at 10 and 13% respectively, which quite frankly, thinking about what's going on with kids being in school and not being in school, and I thought that was yay our community for still trying to make it into CS. Use of the pickup lockers rose 9%, but the number of new cards issued in October fell by about 18%, although that's not super surprising because September was, if you remember, the annual drive. So we always expect it will be a little higher than normal in September. I think the most notable change in the month-to-month comparison is that program attendance rose by 34%. So kudos to everybody who's working on our virtual programming and really, kind of reinventing how we do everything from story times to author visits. A few other highlights during October included 7 patrons sat for the GED at Medina branch or Medina Library. We cooperated with Ohio Means Jobs to present a series of webinars on job searching during the pandemic. We're currently exploring some possible cooperative opportunities with Medina County Office for Older Adults to think about offering some remote technology training classes for seniors, as well as we have a staff member working with Alternative Paths to look into a partnership with them for a youth mental health program. So there's some interesting work being done in those areas. We've utilized some of the CARES grants money. Well, I think you all got an overall update on what we had planned for that last month, but we can report now that the patron wireless access to internet has been updated and expanded in all of the library parking lots, with the exception of Seville, since we don't have a parking lot there. So that was exciting. We got to use a local contractor to spend those CARES Act funds. As you know, last week, the governor and the ODH issued the order enforcing mask wearing at retail locations. So there was some buzz over how would that or might that affect the library. But when we look at that legislative here at MCDL, we've already been following those requirements. The full text of the order was made available to us on Sunday. So we're in the process of kind of reviewing all the details to make sure that our signage is still up to par, and to just to make sure we're dotting all the I's and crossing our T's. But essentially, we were already doing the things that they were asking folks to do. There's a section on reasonable accommodation, which describes services that we already have in place, like telephone ordering, curbside, no contact pickup, and those kinds of things. On the legislative front, we'll be watching House Bill 197, hoping for an extension of the open meetings flexibility. That's the legislation that allows us to meet virtually. Right now, this is set to expire December 1st, but OLC, from the update that we've gotten there, we think it's very likely to be extended. We'll keep an eye on House Bill 773. It's been introduced, and it's a neat piece of legislation, really, that seeks to add supplemental funding to the PLF for most libraries, for all libraries who offer services beyond printed books. The proposal would add 0.33% on top of whatever the PLF is at the time. While we don't have an expectation, frankly, that this supplemental legislation will be implemented, but the really kind of good news about that is it really will serve as a foundation to start talking with new or interested legislators about how Ohio public libraries are funded. So we are certainly grateful to the legislators sponsoring that information, particularly now when the projected statewide shortfall for the next biennium is right now at 1.8 billion, right? So that's for the whole budget, not the PLF. But as always, like Kelly said earlier, we'll plan for the most dire scenario and hope for the best. So I think the last thing that I wanted to note for you is that Ohio Senate President Larry Obhoff from here in Medina has been named Ohio Library Council's recipient of the Andrew Carnegie Award for his unwavering support of public libraries. He actually got the award last week here in Medina, and we had a chance for Lauren and her crew to really show off the makerspace and to talk about local history. And it was really kind of a fun hour where we all kept our masks on and were appropriately distanced from each other. The awards presented to government officials who have exhibited outstanding support of public libraries to help us make sure that we maintain quality public library services to all Ohioans. So we had Jay Smith and Michelle Francis, the executive director of Ohio Library Council, were here. And Michelle said that President Obhoff has been a champion for public libraries, and he's recognized the essential role we play in communities across the state. He was instrumental in ensuring public library funding in the last state budget, and he worked to secure $18.3 million of the CARES Act funds so that libraries can continue to provide services and operate safely during the pandemic. So President Obhoff's commitment to quality public library service in Ohio exemplifies the true spirit of Andrew Carnegie, the father of the modern public library. So we are very proud to that he chose to accept the award here at Medina, and it was just kind of a fun couple hours in a hectic work week. So that is, I think, your director's report. I don't have any communications to share with you at this time. We didn't receive anything.
Hey, thanks, Julianne. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, there being none, we will go to committee reports.
Actually, Kyle can give you the personnel report.
Personnel report. Sorry about that. I missed one. All right. I need a motion and a second for the personnel report.
So move.
Sharon, okay?
Second.
Gail, okay.
All right. Well, we did not hire any new coworkers this month. As our continuing pause, we evaluate each position as it becomes available. We have congratulations to 2 people who accepted new roles this month. Eric Lucius began as our Highland Library Manager on October 2nd or October 1st, and Jamie Stilla took the role of our Lodi Manager on October 11th. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but next month you would hear that on November 9th, Katie Grafnitz has been promoted from our librarian at Lodi to the Seville Manager. So congratulations to those. We had 4 staff members who left employment with us this month, and there are 2 retirements in November. We had 8 people who opted to reduce their hours to achieve a better work-life balance, and 13 employees were on various leaves of absence during October. As you remember, we implemented the Shared Work Ohio plan. And for the first 2 weeks of that plan in October, we had 21 staff members at 20% reduction. The departments were admin, finance, collection resources, community engagement, and HR. But starting on October 25th, 9 of those staff members were removed from the plan in the collection resources department due to a change in the staffing level. If you recall, I was implementing a 20% reduction. So once they became higher than a 20% vacancy, their department came off of that plan. So at this time, we have 12 employees remaining on the plan, scheduled to do so through January 2nd, 2021. In other news, as a stress buster, probably the most fluffy thing you will hear today, I declare the remainder of 2020 Special Jeans Day, every day, all day for staff. Also during the month of October, we offered 2 more EAP workshops. One was called COVID and Stress Management, and the second workshop was called Building Resiliency. Finally, we'll say congratulations to Joy Hovanitz, our HR receptionist clerk. She's reached her 15 years of service, so congratulations and thank you so much, Joy. So that's what I have for your personnel report.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion and questions? Okay, there being none, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes. Okay, so now the moment I've been waiting for is to say, Brian Carlson, Finance Committee.
We will be calling the meeting, but there was no meeting to report today.
Okay. Personnel Committee, Ms. Jenks?
Yes, we did not meet, but I do have something to bring before the board for discussion. At the end of October, I received an email from Julianne regarding basically what to do regarding hers and Kelly's annual evaluation. And so given that Julianne's only been in the role since mid-February, which is only 9 months, and Kelly's retiring in February, thought it best to bring it to the full board to discuss whether to do Julianne's formal evaluation closer to her hire date, given the kind of year that it's been, what the full board would like to do regarding an eval for Kelly as well, given that she's going to retire. I would like to also interject that if the board, decides to wait on Julianne's eval until February or March, maybe we could discuss the potential or the possibility of maybe having some sort of an interim meeting with her in December, perhaps, to kind of share some thoughts with her, get some feedback from her in the last 9 months. This has been obviously an incredible, highly unusual year. And as Julianne put it, the regular rules don't apply often. And so just wanted to open that up for discussion, and also Kelly's contract, what the board would like to do regarding that moving forward for the remainder of her time.
Can we discuss that in executive session?
Sure.
I'm just asking.
This is what would be the, go ahead, Mary, were you going to say something, Mary Ogden? I see you're not muted.
No, I was not.
Okay. I don't know what the reason for calling the executive session would be. Ryan, did you have?
No, if you guys want to talk about it, go ahead.
Couldn't you do an executive session under compensation for a direct hire? Because
Depends on if you're going to talk about this is Kelly. Sorry, depends on if you're going to talk about compensation. You could do it
as far as a contract, for remaining time and stuff.
Yeah, normally this type of discussion is not an executive session unless you have a specific topic with employment of a public employee that you want to discuss. To consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. So, if you're just looking at a process, I would recommend that it's discussed not in executive session. I think once you discuss a particular employee and a contract and or details of that contract or employment or salary or any of that stuff, that is permissible for executive session. That's just my advice.
I agree with Kelly.
Works for me.
Okay, so then the next step?
We have to decide what we're going to do.
Right.
All right. Sharon, do you have any recommendations? Anybody else? No committee?
Well, we did not meet because felt it was best to bring it to the full board for discussion on the time frame, which is basically what it is. And then if the board would decide to wait until February or March, did we want to have something with Julianne before then, just as kind of an interim kind of a meeting? That was all I had. I just don't know how everybody else feels about it, so just felt that it was best to bring to the full board.
What about? Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry, did you want to go first?
It's weird. I was just going to recommend that the personnel committee meet and come up with a recommendation for the full board on some of these things that you're talking about here, as far as whether if you recommended that you wait until February or rather than have the board meeting on it. But Ryan, what are you going to say?
Well, I would be okay with either, but I'm just one of those people that says if that's the normal time frame for doing something, you can do it, and then you can always supplement later and re-review things within a year. Obviously, annual reviews are helpful, but I think there isn't any reason from a procedural standpoint we couldn't stick with our regular routine. We just may have to supplement it again in the future.
So it would be annual, meaning in February or March, when it's been a year.
You could. I don't know that either is a problem for me personally, but I'm just one of you. So.
Right.
Since wages tend to change January 1st, I think we've always had evaluations in the fall to look at the wage change for next year or the following year.
Which is why I would probably agree or maybe I'm not agreeing with you. Maybe I'm agreeing with myself, but sticking to the schedule.
By schedule, do you mean the fall month, like November,
Yeah,
December?
yes, Mary. Yes, our normal operating procedures.
I don't know if it may not necessarily be relevant to this discussion, but I would just mention that generally the entire library is done, in November, just for the reasons you said, because of wage changes. But because we had not planned to bring to the board a recommendation to do anything that would change wages in January, the rest of the libraries, all of the employees have been temporarily waived for the fall. We will get back to them, after the first of the year in the spring. But the reason, part of that being that we had not intended to recommend a change to base wage for anyone. Maybe that doesn't matter, but I would just note that we suspended everybody else's, so they're not going on at this time. Frankly, I think it might have been the straw that broke everyone's back for having to kind of go through a lot of going through the process, the regular standard process. There just isn't enough time and energy right now. But that was just for the rest of the staff.
I would just, I guess I would just ask, okay, what do we want to achieve with this year's review? And do you, as the personnel committee, or you on the personnel, or anybody else on the board, feel that we need to do something this fall? I guess that's a question. Do we want to do it this fall in November? Yes or no? Do we want to say something now and then an annual review? I mean, there's really no rules on this. If there's something that is a coaching opportunity or something that you want to hear feedback, I think that's something that can be ongoing. So, as far as an annual review goes, I see it as an opportunity to coach, and I feel like Julianne hasn't even been here a year, and it's been the middle of a pandemic, and it's been one thing after another. I'm not sure I see the value of it right now, because we've been talking so much regularly with Julianne, but I'm going to leave it up to the rest of the board. I'm just not sure it's the best use of anybody's time, and I'm not sure I would say it's the best use of anybody's time to review Kelly, because she's leaving in February. So that, to me, is, I don't see what we're trying to achieve with that, but maybe I'm missing something here.
Well, and my thought was just that giving Julianne the full year, because typically that was, December to December, she would have, if she'd have been here the whole year, but she wasn't. So my thought was, would it be best to wait until she's had her full year to provide the evaluation? That was my thinking. But that, again, 1 of 7.
The only thing I would bring up, this is Kelly, is that I do have a contract, as someone mentioned, through December 31st. Mm-hmm. So in order to pay me anything after that date, we'd have to do some a sort of appointment, like we normally do at the December board meeting, which is the organizational board meeting. You would need to hire a fiscal officer, set the salary, set the bond. That's what we have to do by law. So that's the current contract that I have does expire December 31st. So yeah, this is definitely an odd thing.
Right, Kelly. So what I'm understanding is whether there's a review or not next month, or a review for you, next month we'll have to renew that contract for the period through your retirement, right? And the bond and all that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Do something with it. Yes.
That's a definite. So, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm just going to, again, say I think we should stick with our schedule, our regular routine, which is doing the fall reviews.
Okay.
I've kind of agree with Ryan. Even though it hasn't been a full year, it can provide guidance going forward. The pandemic isn't ending, and a review can give guidance going forward to that. Plus, it leaves us on schedule, because, okay, we delay it till April, then the next one's going to be, 8 months.
True.
stuff. So, I don't see it as all bad. I mean, had you come on board in, September, even with no pandemic, we'd be at the same thing. It's not a full year, but I hate to get off track from that. And I think there can be, good feedback from that, and positive ways to move forward.
Are there any other comments? Mary Schultz, Mary Ogden, Gail?
I agree that we should stick to the schedule, especially under the circumstances that Kelly needs to have her contract renewed so she can get paid until she retires. So I think that we need to stick to the schedule, even though it doesn't necessarily feel right.
Are there any other thoughts?
I think probably the personnel committee needs to craft an evaluation form for Julianne's review. The ones we have used in the past, I don't think would apply to this year all that well. So it might just be a series of questions, different types of questions, to get to the point that was made, that the comments then can be used to help provide some guidance for next year.
Sharon, depending on what you and the committee think, if you go back to that email that was a few weeks ago, we've got some forms. There are ones that I have from Carol's files, although Kelly said she'd not seen those forms. We're not sure where they came from. So anyway, if you want to use those as a starting point for your discussion, I'm happy to try to help develop the form, or stay out of your way while you do it. Either way, it's okay.
No. Okay. And also, if anybody else, board members has anything in particular that they would like included in the list, please forward those to me as soon as possible.
Okay. Anything else, Sharon, in the personnel committee?
I think that was basically it. Like what to do with an eval for Kelly, what to do with an eval for Julianne, and then Kelly's contract.
Excellent. Okay, then we're ready to move on to policy and bylaws committee. Mary Schultz.
No meeting.
Okay. Buildings committee, Dr. Griffiths.
No meeting.
Okay. All right, so moving on here. Hang on, okay. Unfinished business, fiscal officer search, update, and special meeting dates.
Right.
So,
As Kelly mentioned earlier, we're evaluating or receiving the information, the applicants as we go along. I know several of them have been invited to kind of take the next step, which, if you recall, the next step in the process is the questionnaire, which is the skills like Excel and general knowledge questionnaire. So we're working on that. The next kind of chunk of things would be on your agenda. We had 4 dates that we being Kelly and I suppose, recommending for special meetings. November 24th at 6 p.m. for the board to review the candidates' applications. November 30th at 6 p.m. for initial candidate interviews. December 7th at 2:45 to have final candidate interviews. And then the fourth one that we had, at least for now, is December 8th at 6 p.m. for discussion for your decision and discussion of the offer. Given what's going on out in the community, I'm assuming or working under the assumption that you will want to conduct the entire process using Zoom. So that, Kelly, have I left out anything important?
No, I think you hit it all.
Okay. Just looking in the board bylaws, the trustee bylaws, special meetings can be called by the president, but those were the dates that we had recommended for your consideration.
Okay. Does anybody have? I have those on my calendar. They work for me. What about everybody else? Anything?
Potentially anything 2:45 may or may not work. We don't have December, schedules yet to know where we're at. The evening ones are no problem for me.
I cannot make the 2:45 on December 7th. I am in a tax update seminar.
Okay, 2 out of the 7.
I think the reason that was falling earlier in the day was we were trying to kind of modeling off of what you'd done with your director search. And if we have 3 candidates with a 1 hour interview with the board and 15 minutes in between, if we didn't start until 6, we'd be getting out like 10 after 10. So do we want to, but I could certainly try to bump that later in the day, I don't know if starting at 5 would be helpful.
It'd certainly be helpful for me. I don't know about Gail.
It would be helpful for me.
If that second interview's like finalists, there wouldn't be like 10 of them, or probably not even 5 of them, maybe just the top 3.
Right. So we were scheduling 3 an hour each, so 3 hours and 15 minutes in between. It's about 3.5 hours. 4 if we don't keep to our schedule. But let me see about working that later in the day to start at least. What's the earliest that we could do? 5:30?
That would be best for me. Sorry.
Yeah, 5:30 should work for me also.
Okay.
Are there any other other comments as far as these dates and times? Okay, Julianne, yeah, just let us know about changing that a little later.
Oh yes, I'll work on this. Bumping things around. But so for now, we'll make our schedule those 4 1 2 3 4 those 4 dates at 5:30 on the 7th and 6 p.m. on the rest of them. Okay.
Julianne,
right.
how many applicants so far?
4. There's 4, I think 8 altogether.
There's about 8.
Good.
And they still have almost a week if anybody's still working on it. So we'll see.
Okay. On to new business, the Medina branch presentation. I'm guessing Christine?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you tonight, and it's really good to hear and see everyone, even if it's only virtually. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a little bit of let's see. I need to be given permission to share my screen. It's not allowing me.
There you go. You're a co-host.
There we go. Thank you. Alrighty. Well, as I started to think what I wanted to prepare tonight, I thought and I couldn't think of anything more important than all the changes that COVID has brought our way. So I prepared a short slideshow about working and living with COVID at the library. Back when we closed to the public on March 14th, the end of the day that Saturday, we really had no idea how much would be changing. Some staff got to come back behind closed doors in early May, and it was so good to hear our members' voices, and so many of them express their gratitude to have their library back, even if it was only chat pickup lockers at that time. We were so grateful when we opened our doors to the public on June 15th. And we had spent much of the time behind closed doors preparing for safe operations putting up plexiglass, thinking about how we were going to offer service and the new services we could offer. And then it was great to see all of our staff back to work on June 22nd. And patrons were as happy as we were. And then our hours recently changed on October 19th. And we've also started to see a lot more of our young members in after school, getting back into more of a normal routine and seeing some of the normal visiting patterns return. So, of course, with COVID, masks have become a fact of life. If you've walked into our branch anytime recently, you've seen Kermit helping us keep the mood light as we enforce our mask guidelines. We've had, when we started enforcing masks, we have had just a few incidents of members who do not want to comply, but we do every day have lots of reminders for folks to keep both their mouth and nose covered. So it's a daily addition to our routine. Of course, moving our materials around, that's always a big part of our library task. And now that we're quarantining our items for 4 days and having our book drop only open on the weekends, you can see the mountain of books that come in just the Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday. Every Friday, we're opening those doors and having one person at a time. Usually takes us a good part of the morning to get our books unloaded onto our book carts. And we are all day, every day, taking books in when the library is open to the public. And we're so grateful. In the one picture, you see the nice new blue carts that we were able to purchase that have really helped us so that we have enough carts to keep the quarantine going. We have a little time chart so we know when every cart is able to be checked in. And just this week, we're trying self-check-in of items. And some of our members are really liking that so they don't have to wait for the books to come off their card. Of course, part of life with COVID is cleaning, and more cleaning. So we have lots of supplies, and we're always sanitizing between staff members as they change shifts or change stations. We're disinfecting our lobby, our restrooms hourly or as needed, depending on how busy it is. So it's just a fact of life, and I think that's something we've all adjusted to very well, and we understand how important it is. One of the, I think, most exciting parts is finding new ways of providing services. So, of course, even before we opened our doors to the public again, the anytime lockers have been super popular. We're averaging well over 200 pickups through lockers a month here at Medina. You see up at top our staff member with her yellow vest on and the blue bags. We're doing curbside pickups. And right now, curbside pickups here at Medina are averaging 2 or 3 a day. Another thing that's changed is that we're picking up holds where staff are assisting because our room is so tight. We didn't feel it was safe, that we couldn't really keep the 6-foot distance for members. So we have a little bell that members can ring, and we're right there to hand them their holds, and then everything else stays the same for them. Over the course of the whole time that we've been back, we've had over 1,400 locker pickups, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud that it's become something that's very important, because it's one of the things that I worked hard to have included in the library building when we designed it. So. We're doing lots of virtual programs. As Julianne noted, that's one of the things that's growing the most. Down in the lower corner of your screen, you see the butterfly net. That is one of the ways we handed out our summer reading prizes this fall. It was a very different summer for us. We're used to gearing up for summer being super busy and crowded. And because our game was entirely online, it was unnaturally quiet. So I think I can say that most of our staff really missed all the visitors. But we found creative ways to keep in touch and to hand out the prizes. In the upper corner, you see Julie Holmes, one of our children's associates. She's presenting an online story time. I think it's been good for staff and hopefully really good for our members as well to experience the programs online. You can see the ring light and all the technology. We now have kits for each of our locations that our technology folks have put together to make it easier for staff to present professional presentations. So it's been good. We've done not only the online story times, but we've done used a different type of program, Discord, which is something that teens use for gaming. We've been able to do our anime Otaku Tuesday get-togethers on the Discord platform. We've done some writers programs, and we had a member comment how wonderful it was that we were still able to do them virtually, that she'd come in person and the online ones were giving her inspiration. So that was wonderful. And then right now we're busy planning for our virtual teen mini-con that's coming up on December 18th. Some of that will be live online, and then there will be some recorded sessions that the kids can listen to later. And we're also beginning to plan for a virtual art in action, where we're going to be asking the artists that usually participate to film a few moments of them doing their artwork, share it with us, and we'll be doing that online as well. Of course, with everything, no matter what's going on with COVID, customer service is always our focus. I think it's the thing that staff miss most, and I think the thing our members miss most is just that daily contact. And even though we need to do it safely behind plexiglass or 6 feet away, we're still focused on customer service, and I think we still kind of find our purpose and our meaning that way. I think one of our members said it best. She didn't realize how much she missed the library until our doors were locked. And I think for staff too, we were so glad to be able to get back to work. I want to thank the staff at Medina and around the system because they've adapted to so many changes in the midst of so many unknowns. And I think that's true for all of us in our lives and at work. And I also want to just take a minute to thank the board for supporting us and Julianne and the rest of the administration, because I know it's been a challenge for everyone. So again, thanks for allowing me the opportunity to present, and hopefully that gives you an idea of a little bit of the behind the scenes of what our library life is like right now. Anybody have questions?
I just have a comment, Christine. I had the best experience in the makerspace, and I want to thank Lauren. She taught me how to use the monogramming machine and showed me some of the engraving that was being done on pumpkins, and it was a lot of fun. So
yeah, wasn't that pumpkin really neat?
It was really cool,
and it's lasted a long time.
Yeah. Yep. So if you ever want to have one of your pumpkins engraved, talk to Lauren because she knows what she's doing with it. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, guys.
Do we have any other comments? If not, we will go on to new business. I see B is disposal of obsolete records, but did we not already take care of that? Or do we need to vote again?
This is an odd thing we have to go through every year, Kyle. We usually put this on the board agenda too, so that the minutes that the auditor audits reflect that the commission, the records commission, actually met, and had business. And so the only way we could really get this into our official board minutes is to put this on the agenda and have you just approve it like you normally would with no move or second because it's coming from a quote unquote committee. In this case, it just happens to be a commission.
Okay. All
It's
right.
just complicated.
Thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
All right. So we don't need a motion or a second. Is there any discussion on this, or can we go right into the roll call? Okay. Let's do the roll call. Kelly?
Great. Yes. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we go on to the dates. Let's see, how is this worded? The library closing. And we need a motion and second for this, correct, Kelly?
That is correct, since it's a board policy, yes.
Okay. All right. So can I have a motion and second?
So moved.
Ryan? Okay.
Second.
Okay, you got Mary Ogden for a second. How about that? All right. Is there any discussion? All right.
The only thing I would mention that's unusual about this list of dates is that I'm recommending that we not plan to pick up Sundays again until fall. So at the staffing level, at the community spread, we're not at capacity for folks needing to come in and use the library. I just think it the best going forward to start to not start our Sundays until fall. And the other thing is that this calendar does include us being closed on November 11th. You'll know every other year we usually have a staff development day. Next year would be that day. So whether we have it virtual or whether we're allowed to all be together, I think it would behoove us to have our staff day on the 11th.
Okay. Are there any questions on any of that? Okay, there being none, we have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, Kelly?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes. Okay. And now we move to the service recognition for Donna Tomcho. Whereas Donna Tomcho is retiring from Medina County District Library with 27 years of dedicated service. Whereas Donna joined MCDL in 1993 as a page at Medina, she became a circulation clerk and then outreach service clerk in 1995, where she remained until 2008 when she transitioned to professional resource center clerk. Whereas Donna is the gold standard for excellent in-house customer service. She practically runs a little craft and bookstore at the PRC. We will miss the kind smiles and friendly words that Donna shares with all. Whereas Donna is the MacGyver of crafting. Her imagination and creativity are amazing. Give her an Ellison die, paper, a puppet, and a tube of glitter glue, and she'll give you the world. Whereas Donna is a wealth of organizational knowledge, which is especially helpful if you are a new manager trying to figure out why you have an old TV tube and video cassette rewinders stored in the warehouse. Whereas she remembers so much about her coworkers' families. Donna always has a funny story to share, a compassionate ear to listen, or a cheerful perspective to offer. Her scarves can brighten up even the dreariest day. Whereas Donna is always in the know about all things at the Buckeye Building. You want to know if a particular staff person will be or has been in that day? If any spiders have recently been spotted in the building? Ask Donna. There really isn't anything she doesn't know. Whereas we suspect Donna may be related to Santa Claus, because if you ask her for something slightly outrageous thinking it's not going to happen, but it can't hurt to ask, you're likely to find that very slightly outrageous something magically appears in your mailbox. Donna always has something in the PRC treasure trove to complete your wish list. Whereas we're really going to miss Donna so very much. but we're happy that she will be able to spend so much more time with her loving husband, Andy, 3 children, 4 grandsons, and her furry friends. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Medina County District Library congratulates Donna Tomshow on her years of service to our community. Thank you, Donna. And we follow that with service recognition for Keith Maynard. Whereas Keith Maynard is retiring from Medina County District Library with 22 years of dedicated service. Whereas Keith was hired in 1998 as the maintenance supervisor and was named the facilities operations manager in 2008, where he has always maintained the highest level of concern for safety. Whereas Keith has handled all manner of calamities, whether it was water pouring in a building, construction, repair, and maintenance of vehicles, or rescuing the occasional staff member who had locked their keys in a car. Keith has been there and done that. He's taken care of MCDL on all levels, the buildings, the bookmobiles, the grounds, the staff. There isn't much he hasn't handled over the years. Whereas Keith can surprise you with his nostalgic side, he has a deep appreciation for classics, including cars, books, movies, and even local late-night horror movie hosts. He is known to appreciate the good stuff and believes they just don't make them like they used to. Whereas Keith doesn't giggle too often, but when he does, it's contagious. When Lodi was closed and the library was operating out of the meeting room, Keith watched a staff member over surveillance go from the makeshift reference desk to the break room door. He then called the desk so the staff member would hurry back to answer the phone. Then Keith would hang up. This continued for a while before the staff member answered the phone to the sound of Keith's howling laughter. Whereas there is a persistent urban legend that Keith once hid under his desk from Teresa, but this has never been definitely proven. Whereas Keith has been known to catch staff completely off guard with a kind word or compliment when it's least expected. If he says it, you know he means it. Whereas Keith really poured his heart and expertise into the complex and widespread building renovations, which dominated large chunks of his time at MCDL. His knowledge of all the facilities, operations, and processes that make up our library home will be missed by all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Medina County District Library congratulates Keith Maynard on his years of service to our community, and we wish for him much happiness and relaxation spent in the company of family and friends. Thanks, Keith. Okay, donations, says we have none, so we're moving forward to trustees' comments, and I will start with Ryan Carlson.
Sorry, couldn't find mute fast enough. I think she's still there, but Christine, thank you so much for what you said and did, and your leadership through this strange year, and to all the staff at your branch. Also, congratulations to those who were moved up in promotions that Julianne mentioned earlier. It's wonderful to see that we've been able to promote from within and rotate through. So that's fantastic. And that's it for now.
Okay. Maria Griffiths?
Yeah, always following Ryan. He sums it up so nicely. So likewise, Christine, thanks for really reinforcing a lot of what we kind of knew. You and your staff have been extremely creative in providing services, and it was really neat to see some of the specifics with that. Likewise, all the best to Keith and Donna. Both you will be missed, and but I have no doubt you both train the people underneath you to move up and carry on with those areas. And Also, human resources. I really like the stress management and the building resiliency programs. I had read that in the report and thought that's just a great thing when we've got a time with whether you're at work and certainly not the same work situation in tough times, and even daily life at home is very different. It helps to learn those skills, whether it's for use at work, home, or in other areas. That's fantastic. And likewise, congrats to everyone who was promoted.
Thanks, Maria. Mary Ogden?
I could just say ditto to both what Ryan and Maria said. I also wanted to thank Julianne for the list of partnerships that she provided in the report. That so much of this year has been internally focused in terms of what in the world's going on within the library. It was nice, again, to see the outreach that does occur that enables us to serve as many people as we serve and engage in the community. So appreciated reading that. And congrats to Keith. It's been over the last several years. It's been amazing to work with him as we've worked through our construction issues and things like that, and always appreciated his objective view of things and his passion for making sure that it was always right.
Thank you, Mary. Gail?
I wanted to thank Julianne for those colorful charts because they do give us an idea of what is happening at the library in a very focused way that we may not always see just in words. So I do appreciate that. I'm also impressed with all the branches and the way they continue to provide programs and excellent customer service. I really enjoy reading all the summaries of what everyone's doing. And again, it's surprising to me to see how much work is going into doing their jobs and serving the community. And I really appreciate that. I want to thank, like everyone else said, all of those with their service recognitions and the promotions from within. I think that's the way to do it. So thank you to all of them.
Thank you, Gail. Sharon?
Okay. Yes, reflecting everything that everybody else has already said. Thank you, Keith and Donna, for all of your years of service and commitment. You will certainly be missed. Congrats to people that have been promoted from within. Thanks, Christine, for that presentation. Seeing all of the photographs of what's, the library actually looks like right now. I'm immunocompromised. I haven't been in the library since March. Seeing Deanna at the front desk almost made me cry. I haven't seen her for many, many months, and everybody else. Congrats to Joy for her 15 years of service. Congrats to President Obhoff for his Andrew Carnegie Award. All of the virtual programs, as I said last month, and all the other things that are going on at all the branches are just amazing. And it's really nice to hear all of those updates. Like Mary said, I had also about Julianne for the update on all of the community partnerships that are ongoing. That's really wonderful to hear about all of that. I guess that's it. It just thanks again as every month for everything that all the staff are doing collectively. Tina and all the work that she's doing and with her staff to get out the word about all the things that are changing. I just am so appreciative of everything.
Thanks, Sharon. Mary Schultz.
Well, I noticed on Facebook, I think it was the list of things. The Library of Things list, and that is so impressive. We are stealing all of those ideas. I'm going to confess to that. But if you haven't seen the fantastic items available and whoever came up with those, that was brilliance. Nice job, Christine. Thank you for that. And I appreciate your appreciation of the staff everyone has had to adjust. Trustees, management, all workers, everywhere, and we all appreciate what the staff has done with these unwelcome changes from COVID. And best wishes to the retirees.
Well, and I'm just going to ditto what everybody said. I again want to congratulate Eric and Jamie on their promotions and Joy for her years of service, as well as for Donna and for Keith. Christine, thanks for a great presentation. Christine was in my leadership Medina County class, and so it feels really good to see you and hear about what a great job all the work that's being done at the Medina Library, the whole system. I actually checked out one of the library of things, air monitoring guns, and checked all of my windows and my doors. If you haven't checked it out, it's really, really amazing. So thanks to everybody for all your great work. And with that, we will then move to the next item on the agenda, the executive session. Do we have a reason to call an executive session? I don't think so. Okay. All right, then I'll have a motion and a second for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Hale, okay.
Second.
Dr. Griffiths? Okay, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
I got kicked out for a minute. I don't know what we're voting on.
Voting on adjournment.
Yes.
At 7:20 p.m. Okay. Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes. All right, everybody. Have a great night, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.